problem. I get my public service.
Good evening. Welcome to the June 3rd, 2014 Joliet City Council meeting. Would you please join me in standing for the pledge and prayer by Pastor Larry Tyler from Second Baptist Church.
Let us pray. Gracious God, our Father, we thank you for this privilege to pause and to acknowledge you. We hereby, Lord, invite you into these proceedings. We thank you for the men and women that comprise the great city council of Joliet. But that said, we recognize, Lord, that all government ideally represents your passion, your heart, your love, your justice, and equity for all people. We ask hereby, Lord, that you may impart wisdom for special and complex issues, Lord, that common ground may emerge for a sense of path forward and realize progress. We just thank you for the heart of every individual that's here today. And we ask that you would superintend all of our thoughts and give special enablement that we may proceed forth as you. We now ask this in your great Son, Jesus Christ. In his name we pray. Let everybody say,
Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for having me.
See you so soon. Thank you. I know, I was looking.
Start with roll call. Mayor Durrani.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl.
Here.
Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman McFarland.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Odekirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
First is approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written with the following changes, moving the proclamation to after council committee reports this evening?
So moved.
Second. Questions? Krista?
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk. Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Next, council committee reports. Diversity Committee report.
The Diversity and Community Relations Committee met last Thursday on May 28th. And due to lack of a quorum, we just discussed with the folks that were involved. One thing on the agenda was another update on the Black Contractors Association. Thankfully, Betty Gavin was in attendance. Unfortunately, Councilman Hug was ill, and Councilman McFarland just halfway through the meeting got an emergency phone call. So it was just Betty and myself. But we did get a lot accomplished. We did move forward, and it ended up, after much discussion, that the contractors would work with staff to come to something that would be palatable for both sides as far as helping them with grants and to get money for them to help educate people to get their certification. And so we left it at that, and they'll come back to us after they've gotten together with staff, and we'll come back to committee, and then whatever they find, if we agree with it, we'll bring it back to council. The other two agenda items were not discussed because the folks that were there were not in attendance, the ones that wanted to discuss it. So pretty much, we made some headway, and I think everybody left very in a nice mood. So that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you. Krista?
Economic Development Committee report.
The Economic Development Committee, consisting of myself, Councilman Turk, and Hug, met 5:30 here in the council chambers. We listened to a gentleman that wants to open up a pinball arcade at 215 North Chicago Street. It will consist of 20 to 25 pinball machines, 5 video arcade machines, electromechanical driving machine, a foosball table, air hockey table. The hours would be initially Fridays and Saturdays from 3 to midnight, and if business goes well, they would be expanded to Tuesday and Thursday, 3 to 10 p.m. They are seeking an 18-month waiver of amusement vending devices. It's a $50 fee per machine. The committee made a motion to have Jeff Plyman draw up a TIF agreement for 215 North Chicago Street to waive that fee. And the committee also made a motion to recommend to the council to allow them to open pending okay from fire inspectors and police, make sure that everything is right over there. They want to open up, the machines are there, they want to open up as soon as possible. Now, we don't know if we could walk this on and vote on it to allow them to open up. Jeff, we weren't sure.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I believe opening up the establishment would be an administrative matter that the council would not need to act on. The TIF agreement, we have a draft that's being circulated at the staff level currently and will be ready for your next meeting.
Okay, so they can open up.
Yes.
Okay.
Subject to the administrative building code requirements.
Right, yes, okay. Any questions on that? Okay, Krista?
Public Safety Committee report.
Yes, Your Honor. The Public Safety Committee met this evening before the council meeting. Public Safety Committee consists of Councilman Oedeker, Councilman Morris, and myself. There was one item of business that we discussed at the committee, and it was basically the entry-level police testing. Chief Benton gave an excellent report. The list that is currently in place with respect to police hiring is going to expire November 19th, 2014. This list has already been extended once, and so it's going to be 2 years old as of November 19th of 2014. As most of you recall, a few years ago, or maybe less than that, 18 months ago, excuse me, the city, basically in its last hiring, went through a process of where we hired, we did lateral transfers as far as our hires. And at the time, I think that was a great option for the city. We basically were able, we had a need, we had a lot of officers that had retired, and there was really a lot of vacancies in the police department. This allowed us to get officers hired that were trained, and we could get them on the streets very quickly. However, after discussing with Chief Benton felt that he'd like to go back to the more traditional way of the entry-level police testing. A couple of advantages. One advantage that we feel that this would open up police positions to our residents, to our Joliet residents. And, this is definitely something that Chief Benton wants to do, hiring younger people and being able to open it up, as I said, to our residents. We're going to propose, in fact, it's our ordinance number 259-14. We're going to hire a consulting firm, Stenard and Associates. The city has dealt with Stenard in the past. They have an excellent representation and are definitely committed to getting the most qualified officers that is reflective of the demographics of the city of Joliet. So the committee was in full agreement with hiring Stenard. Once Stenard gets in place and is hired, they're going to bring back the more of the details of the testing to the committee, which will then come before the city council. As I said, that was the only item of business. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my report.
Just a couple things Councilman McFarland brought up. This waiver of the fee is an 18-month waiver, and the gentlemen that are opening this facility up have 2 or 3 buildings already in the city of Joliet that they own, so they're not new to downtown Joliet. So they already invested in downtown. So.
May I make a comment, Mayor?
Sure.
I wanted to comment on your committee and on the chief. I think it's fantastic that we addressed an issue, a real serious financial issue, and that's why we went to the lateral, like you said. This is the first I've heard of it, and it's great that we're going to let our young people have a chance, like we've always done, to be part of our police force, and ultimately possibly the fire department too. That's great. I'm glad that the committee approved it.
Thank you, Councilman.
Public Service Committee report.
Your Honor, the Public Service Committee comprised of Councilwoman Gavin, Councilman McFarland, and myself met yesterday afternoon here in the conference room to review the contracts, change orders, pay estimates, final payments. The contract for the roadway resurfacing contract that's awarded tonight is about $600,000 lower than the engineer's estimates, so there'll likely be another round of street resurfacing in August and September. We also discussed the installation of drain lines for homes that have completed the footing tile separation program, and the West Park front pumping station replacement and West Side Interceptor construction projects. And it was just discussion items, but everything else we recommend for approval.
I show no other reports. Next, we'll move to the proclamation, which is listed under Mayor on the agenda. It's proclaiming the month of June as Relay for Life Days in Joliet.
I'd just like to say, Mayor and Council, as you know, there isn't anybody in this room that doesn't know or has had a family member that has suffered from this horrific cancer. And here to accept this proclamation are Glenn Markham and Kim Radiker, and the other two aren't here, I said. Okay. Whereas Relay for Life is the signature fundraising event for the American Cancer Society that celebrates cancer survivors, anyone who has been diagnosed with cancer and remembers loved ones lost to the disease. The American Cancer Society Relay for Life brings a community together to take up the fight against cancer. Money raised during the Relay of Life, Joliet, helps support research, patient services, education, and advocacy. Relay for Life helps fund more than $100 million in cancer research each year, and in total, more than $3.8 billion has been invested in cancer research since 1946. Now, therefore, I, Thomas Girani, Mayor of the City of Joliet, on behalf of the City of Joliet Council, do hereby proclaim the month of June 2014 as Relay for Life Days in Joliet, and encourage everyone to participate in the Relay for Life of Joliet at the ATI Field at Joliet Memorial Stadium on June 14th, 2014. And it is signed Tom Girani, Mayor of Joliet. Thank you. Can I say something?
Mr. Mayor and City Council, again, I want to thank you. This is the 14th year for the Joliet Relay for Life, and Jan was talking about some numbers that the American Cancer Society has raised and nationwide, worldwide, but I think we're proud of the Joliet Relay. Over those 14 years, we've raised $2.3 million, thanks to the residents of Joliet. So this is the girl that's chairing it this year. This young lady has more energy than I've ever had when I chaired this event, so I'm going to let her speak. It's Kim Radiker.
I just wanted to, thanks for having me, first of all. I just wanted to go over real quick how our day is going to start. Saturday, June 14th at 2 o'clock, we'll have our opening ceremony at the ATI Memorial Stadium. And we are going to keep going until 6 a.m. That is our goal, is to help finish the fight. So after ceremony, the opening ceremony will start with our survivor lap, which the mayor has always started off for us. Can't wait to have you there again. And then the survivors are invited to a nice dinner at 4:30, and at 9 o'clock we'll do our luminaria ceremony, where the entire track is lit up with glowing luminaria bags to either honor or remember somebody that lost their battle, and or honor a survivor. I'm sorry, I get a little emotional. At midnight, we're planning on doing our Fight Back ceremony, which is a great way to have a fun way of discussing the American Cancer Society's mission. There'll be lots of dancing, there'll be lots of music, but lots of information given out as well, and it kind of keeps us moving. Glenn knows we're slugging at midnight because we're normally there at 10 a.m. setting up. 9 o'clock. Yeah, 9 o'clock most days. Years. So, but Relay for Life is become very important to me. Like you said, everybody in this room in some way, shape, or form has been touched by cancer, and that day you see so many people come out for the same reason, and that is to honor, celebrate, and remember, and try to end the fight. You know, we want to finish the fight and put an end to cancer. So thank you again for having us, and this means a lot to me personally. So thanks.
Next is consent agenda items. Approval of minutes. It's recommended the minutes of the pre-council meeting held on May 19th and the regular meeting held on May 20th stand approved as recorded. Council Memo 248-14, regular payroll for April 18th through May 1st, 2014, $3,055,007.73. It is recommended said regular payroll be approved. And Council Memo 249-14, position vacancies. It is recommended the city manager be authorized to fill one roadways equipment operator 1 position and subsequent vacancies, and one public safety dispatcher 1 position. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
So, second.
Questions? Krista?
Been motion and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under ordinances and resolutions, under ordinances, Council Memo 250-14, an ordinance approving a special use permit to allow a medical cannabis dispensary within an existing tenant space of an existing building located at 1627 Rock Creek Boulevard. It is recommended Council Memo 250-14 be tabled to the July 1st council meeting.
So moved. Second.
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Under resolutions, Council Memo 252-14, a resolution appropriating additional funds for the Phase 2 engineering services for the Washington Street over Spring Creek Improvement Project. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Questions?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 253-14, a resolution appropriating motor fuel tax funds for the 2014 MFT roadways resurfacing contract. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
Motion and seconded to
Kristen.
approve. Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 254-14, a resolution authorizing the execution of the funding agreement between the City of Joliet and the Illinois Housing Development Authority for the Abandoned Residential Property Municipal Relief Program Grant. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second. Any questions?
Been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. Council Memo 255-14, a resolution authorizing the sale of property located at 7 Union Street. It is recommended said resolution be adopted.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions? Krista?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Odekirk.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye.
Motion carried. If you'd like to come forward.
Come forward, sure.
Now that the pressure of the vote is gone,
There you go.
you can relax. I told him, be on your best behavior. Thank you, everyone, for hearing us. And this is my first meeting attending with Councilwoman Gavin, so I'm glad to have your yay vote. Thank you for that. The home tonight was at 7 Union Street, which most of you, I'm sure, know, diagonally across from the Morning Star Mission. So we had our open house. We had just a wonderful turnout. This was part of our effort to target a specifically low-income household. And we found all kinds of households, all kinds of houses in this program, but to find a low-income household that has the credit to qualify for a home, that has the job stability to qualify for a home, this program is actually a little bit tougher to qualify for than a traditional mortgage loan because we're looking so carefully for someone who's not going to get into financial woes in the future. We don't want the money that you all have allocated to save a foreclosed home to result in another foreclosed home. So this family came to the open house, and through the help of family members, I was able to communicate with them because English is not their first language and Spanish is not anywhere in my repertoire. So it was a wonderful experience. So we met everyone, and also thanks to Alfredo and the staff for bridging the gap with my communication lacking on this part. But came to the open house, and Salvador and Marta Martinez are here today with his, I'm going to get this right, his brother, his wife, and their son. Did I get it right?
You did.
I always think somebody else is somebody's sister, but I get it wrong, but I got it right tonight. But due to the language barrier and his shyness, I don't think we're going to get many words out of him tonight, but I know how appreciative he is. Have we talked him into saying anything?
I think the only thing you're going to do is thank you.
So thank you very much for your support of this program and for this family. I know it makes a big difference to them. Thank you.
Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yes, indeed.
Next, under bids and contracts, award of contracts. Council Memo 257-14, award the 2014 MFT roadways resurfacing contract. Council Memo 258-14, award a contract for the Aux Sable Creek Basin Wastewater Treatment Plant Effluent Pump Addition Construction Project. Council Memo 259-14, approve a professional services agreement for entry-level police officers. Council Memo 260-14, award a contract for the 2014 City of Joliet Mosquito Abatement Program. Council Memo 261-14, purchase 2 severe weather sirens. It is recommended Council Memos 257 through 261-14 be approved.
So moved.
Second? Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Is it motion and seconded to approve? Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
I had one question.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm sorry. What is the mosquito abatement program? I received a call today, I guess maybe Jim or Mr. Hawk. We're not spraying anymore, right?
No, this is not a spray of any kind that
Right.
puts it in the catch basin.
Okay, so, okay. I just wanted to make,
dissolves there.
yeah, I had received a call from a resident today, and that's what she was told by city staff, that because she has birds in her house and she wanted to close a window, because I guess they used to call when they're gonna spray, but I was explaining to her, I just wanted to be sure.
You're
that
right.
It'll just be tablets so it won't need to be called or
There's no
anything of that
fogging
nature.
at all
There won't be
done
no fog.
anymore.
Okay, I'm sorry. Did I
That's
say
all right.
aye? Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Amendments, change orders, and payments. Council Memo 262-14, approve Amendment Number 2 for Phase 2 engineering services for the Washington Street over Spring Creek Improvement Project. It is recommended Council Memo 262-14 be approved.
So moved.
Second?
Questions?
Quickly,
Sure.
Mayor. Jim, I don't know if yourself or who might answer it. I just want to clarify, since this is a state-mandated preliminary report, why wasn't it rolled into the original bid? I mean, was it something the state threw at us after we bid it out?
Yeah,
Was it?
this is, when you do a project of this nature, under the Phase 1 engineering, you first have to do some environmental work. When they did some environmental work, they discovered some material underground that may be contaminated. So this is additional testing we had to do.
Okay, thanks, Jim. That clarifies it. Thank you.
And it's still eligible for the 80/20, 80% federal reimbursement.
Okay, thanks.
This motion and seconded to approve. Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Hug?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under licenses and permit applications, Council Memo 263-14, approval to hold a carnival June 27th through June 29th, 2014 at Joliet Memorial Stadium for the Taste of Joliet. It is recommended that Joliet Park District and Windy City Amusements be given approval to hold this carnival.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions?
It's been motioned and seconded to approve. Councilman Girl.
Aye.
Councilman Hug.
Aye.
Councilman McFarland.
Aye.
Councilman Morris.
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Aye.
Councilman Turk.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Aye.
Mayor Durrani.
Aye. Good luck, guys.
Motion carried. Next, under mayor, the proclamation was previously presented. There are no appointments for this evening. So city manager is next on the agenda, review of strategic initiatives.
I'd like to go to the podium and I'll review some of the strategic initiatives that the staff has been working on here. Anyways, we have three more categories that I wanted to review with you this evening. Operations, infrastructure, maintenance. We have, again, divided these into action, the measurement of success, who is responsible, and also a target date. So under the category of a complete infrastructure mapping of all capital assets, we have the action of GIS mapping, measure of success being the city-owned assets, that we have them all mapped and evaluated. All departments will be involved, but predominantly water and sewer utilities, and we're looking at the end of next calendar year on that. Also, asset management tools. The evaluation criteria for a water main is to replace that water main if there have been more than 5 breaks in a 5-year period. And then for the sewer main is if there, it is good if there have been no overflows or backups for a 4-inch rain event. Public Utilities is in charge of this, and this will take approximately another 2.5 years. The storm sewer systems, we want to have them all mapped and evaluated, again, Public Works, and roadway maintenance inventory system. This is where we want to rank the condition of all of our streets and take a look at them so that we can do at least one overlay every 20 years on all of our streets and lay out an action plan to accomplish that goal. Roadways Division is in charge of that, and we're looking at the end of 2017. The road and bridge construction, we have 4 bridges that we're going to be working on, a couple this year, and a few more over the next 2 years, and then the goal of reconstructing 10% more streets in 2017. Then we also have our Emerald Ash Borer situation in our parkways to develop a tree replacement program, removing all of the trees and replacing them all within our parkways by 2019. Of course, as we discussed earlier, it's a multi-year plan and will take some time. Then we have a combined sewer overflow elimination program. We've got a pre-approved schedule, and Public Utilities is in charge of that. Next category under operations, infrastructure, maintenance is to conduct an analysis of our own city-owned facilities. So we want to have an outside consultant do this because we don't have a structural engineer on staff to begin with, but also we'd be looking at HVAC, electrical, and mechanical engineers with expertise to look at all of our facilities and create a report. The idea, of course, is so that we can have a 5-year capital improvement plan and time those replacements before they fail first. And they'll help us prioritize what needs to be replaced first. This is a 2-year project. We thought spreading it out over 2015 and 2016. Obviously, taking the ones that we think are the most dire need in the first year of the program. Third area is to build a system to analyze our city fleet. As of yet, we do not have a vehicle maintenance tracking system. So we're looking at and want to select a management system, a software program that will be able to put all of the information about all of the maintenance on every vehicle we have to help us make decisions on when to replace a vehicle versus when to repair a vehicle. And of course, that helps us in budgeting, knowing when a vehicle needs to be replaced. We're looking to do that yet this year. Also in this category is to determine the staff requirements for implementation, and the funding would be the measure of success, and that could be done over the next few years. And then I'm going to be proposing to you establishing a vehicle funding source, adopting the budget next year with a vehicle maintenance fund or a vehicle replacement budget. And that's, right now we take our budget and we say, okay, we're going to spend $2-3 million this year on the vehicles that need to be replaced. And in this situation, what you do is each department, in essence, depreciates their vehicles and contributes so much per vehicle to the vehicle replacement fund. So then all future purchases come out of that vehicle replacement fund, so that if you have you're financially in dire straits, you don't go from buying 50 vehicles a year down to 0. You have money in that vehicle replacement fund. You may say that year, we can't make a contribution to the vehicle replacement fund, but we can still buy 25 vehicles this year, because that fund is a savings account set aside to make sure you don't, in any given year, go back to absolute 0, because your vehicle fund is oftentimes that fungible account that you'll attack in tough times. And this is a way to preserve that. Again, under operations, infrastructure maintenance, taking a look at our downtown city facility fiber plan. We're IDing the various city facilities in the downtown and plotting it on a GIS layer yet this year. We're going to utilize the information from Camiro's consultants in terms of all of the building owners in the downtown area, and IT department will be in charge of that. Then we'll determine, excuse me, the best case installation. We want to be ready for construction. NIU has been given a grant program to help us with that, working with the IT department, and that should be completed yet this year. And we want to be prepared for the installation and have our installed documents ready and then we'll be ready for any kind of grant funding or other projects that come along. And on that note, I may be coming back to you immediately. We just found out that Sprint is going to be doing some underground work in the downtown area, and they would not be charging us any part of the project to lay fiber. So it will never get cheaper to put fiber optic underground because the hole is open already, and they're not going to charge us for that. And all we have to do is pay for the fiber to put it down in the same hole, and they'll bury it. So we want to be prepared for those opportunities. Also, yet this summer is IDOT is going to be going to bid to connect all of the bridges along the river and operate it out of their facility, and so there will no longer be people occupying those stations in the bridges. It'll all be connected by fiber optic, and we want to piggyback that bid and lay fiber optic for ourselves that can be dedicated for our use and other uses that we can further. So implementation of that business plan that NIU works on with us, and the measurement, again, will be partnering with the county, with Joliet Junior College, with the high school, and other governmental units in the downtown area to create an educational environment that you can access from anywhere in the downtown area. Then we have the strategic priority of operational effectiveness. And we've got establishing a process optimization program. We want to continue our CALEA Police Accreditation Program. And this is an evaluation, a national program that the department's evaluated every 3 years. And our measure of success is not only maintaining that accreditation, but to make sure that in the meantime, the real goal here is that you don't prepare for an award application 6 months before you have to submit it. It's that all the time, all year round, every year, you're doing things to make sure you've got the right processes in place in compliance with CALEA, so you're just putting together the application and not adopting new policies. And of course, the police chief and the department's in charge of that, and that's always ongoing. Continue the annual financial audit, and we want to ensure that we've got sufficient process for review and refinement. And the finance director would be in charge of that. Continuing the ERP replacement project, and that is the successful completion of the Tyler Munis implementation, and make sure we've got sufficient process review. And I guess I'm in charge of that. Also identifying other departments that require process review and refinement. We want to identify other deficiencies or processes in the departments and see if we can refine those for greater efficiencies. And then prioritizing the process for reviewing those initiatives to make those improvements and perform those process reviews and refinements so that we can complete and show the public that they're getting the most efficiency for their tax dollars. Then establishing a standardized staffing plan for all departments. We'll take a look at our organizational chart, make sure it includes all existing and potential positions, completing that by the end of this year. Identifying somebody from the outside, either consultant, with a credible benchmarking of our staffing. And that can be as extreme as hiring a professional consultant, or I know that the ICMA has a consortium, they've got the performance program, and they have collected data for the past 25 years of municipalities, and they would look at municipalities our size in our region and compare performance, compare organizations, because we don't care how well they're snow plowing in Tyler, Texas, because they don't get snow. So they want to make it very specific to the types of services we provide and the priorities that we have. So then we want to make sure that we, once we have established our staffing level, that we work towards this benchmark in a consistent manner, and that's something that would take place over a number of years as funding allows. So, also establishing a service level management program, and this is a master service catalog. In essence, what we want to be able to do is when anybody in any office in the city gets a phone call and says, hey, what do I do for this? I've got this problem. That they can look online and go, well, here's the simple answer. And if it's a complicated answer, they know who to refer that person to. Also, as we move on with a centralized complaint system, we'll be able to deal with it more centralized. We want to prioritize all those services in this catalog, and then establish a service level objective for all services, because we can't be all things to all people. And there are certain services that we provide, and the Parks District provide, and the library, and the state, and the federal government, and we don't need to duplicate services, but we need to be able to guide people to those services wherever they're provided. We also want to make sure that we've got a measurement process in place for all of these, and then we provide quarterly reports on these to the council to make sure that we're being accountable to not only you, but also the public. We want to create a multi-platform for resident communication system where we'll survey the current website users to ascertain the needs and expectations. We'll engage our website development consultant for upgrades and establish our procedures for continual updates that we can do internally. We've got various measures of success to achieve these. We'll address social media and website maintenance as part of that. Then we also are proposing to publish a city e-newsletter that we would send out quarterly, providing residents about information of activities that the city's involved in and what's coming up. And then create this would be basically an email blast out to whoever signs up. So at various events going on in the city, we'll try and recruit people to sign up for this list and get on that mailing. Then I'm also looking at a city alert system that goes beyond the Nixle, which is, there's a number of systems that get so finite that you can have a message go to your cell phone and everybody on your block that this week the city is going to be flushing the hydrants starting Monday morning through Thursday. And if you're doing laundry, be careful, run your water first because it's going to stir up some rust. And to the other extreme where we have some area accident and an evacuation needs to be taken care of, needs to be done immediately, and you can do it block by block, sending out this message. It's much more sophisticated than the Nixle program, and I think it's the funding for this has come down significantly. It's much cheaper than it used to be. The 311 Communication Center is a software implementation that we want to have coordinating with my office as well as the clerk's office, and we'd like to achieve that by the end of this calendar year. We also...
Mayor, I have a question. Just back up once. The city newsletter that you want to put out, who will be submitting the articles for that?
I believe that's something that each department can be responsible for. It's having someone coordinate, in essence, be the editor. A lot of these things are repetitious year after year. And believe me, every fall we'll say, as the snow season approaches and there's a snow emergency, move your car off of the street. And that's a repeated message that all cities want to get out and remind residents year after year. But there will be other things like if we adopt the funding for the Emerald Ash Borer, we want to get the message out to everybody just how significant it's going to be and how many years it's going to take to replace it. And it's a method to get that information out. And I think with the existing, if everybody's contributing, you don't have to contribute a lot. And we've got a large enough staff in all of our divisions that if everybody writes a brief 3-paragraph article, it's information that we'll have enough to put out there.
It's a good idea. Thank you.
Mayor? Sure. Just kind of piggyback on Councilman Quillman's comments on that. Is this going to go through IT committee, the details?
Certainly can.
I think you bring up a point with some information, something that I see a lot of folks are interested in. I don't know if it's going to be monthly, twice a month, whatever. Something I like to see embedded into the newsletter is a link prior to our pre-council meetings. I know the agendas come out on Thursdays, but if there's a way when it comes out, it kind of gives a highlight of what's going to be discussed, the following Tuesday within the newsletter.
Well, it's proposed right now to do on a quarterly basis, and then we can build on it from there. The significant point is that we need to get the word out that we're doing it, and get people signed up, we can utilize the city alert system is the same kind of thing, as is Nixle. You need people to sign up to say, when there's an emergency, text me, or it's not a text, it's a phone call. And you can sign up and say, call my home phone, call my cell phone, call my,
So it's more
my
seasonal
office.
data.
Yeah.
Winter months, parking.
Right.
lots, yeah.
So a quarterly e-newsletter is really to get out those reminder messages and some of the new things that we're getting out there. If we have the time and the interest and enough people sign up and desire more, we can do it every other month. We can decide to send out extras now and again when there's an important message to get out. And that's the advantage of doing it electronically versus printing it out and sending it to all residents' homes.
If I may, many of the things that were mentioned here by City Manager Jim were discussed at our CTIS committee. I mean, there was no vote or anything taken, no final decisions, but these were things that the committee thought we identified that could make it more palatable for people that do use our website. And we had asked for some changes, which I happen to see tonight have not occurred yet. So I hope that we can get on that, and we'll talk about that later.
Sure.
Thanks.
Now we're moving on to, again, community engagement. We're looking at implementing a quality of life plan for East Side residents. That was one of the focus and concerns in the strategic planning session. And so we're suggesting in an effort to, the action is to promote commercial development on the east side, and the measure of success is to first establish a task force vested of residents and commercial business owners. Task forces differ from commissions or committees in that they're given a specific task and they only exist for a measured period of time. Once they've achieved that task, then they're dissolved. So we're looking at having them to recommend a certain level of incentives for commercial development on the east side, and that would be approved by you as mayor and council, and looking at approximately an 18-month period for that, the end of 2015. Then again, we're looking at enhanced opportunities for residents to participate in city affairs. In that, and this is something we can talk about further, you do have the ability to establish resident advisory commissions. And that's something to talk about. And that's where really council members are not on these commissions. There's typically a staff liaison. They use our facilities to meet. They talk about issues of concern, maybe monthly, it may be quarterly, it may be, but it's something that's ongoing versus a task force that, and because there's only so many committees that you can form and time that you have to dedicate and still have a family life besides. So we're proposing that for discussion. Also, having an open house. We talked about how do we get out there, and so what we're talking about, instead of having quarterly meetings in various parts of the city, what we're recommending is that we have tours of our various city facilities at department locations. The West Side Police Station or West Side Fire Station, the roads location. I think people are very interested in looking at, it's one thing to see a plow truck go by, but it's quite different to get up there in that cab and sit there behind the wheel and realize how tall that really is and what our drivers are doing out there on the road. So it gives them an appreciation of the assets that the city has that they typically don't see, and it reaches out to those residents that live in the area. We think we can start that as soon as this fall. Then we're suggesting implementing a language access program. We do have to meet certain HUD requirements on each one of our programs. This is funded by CDBG, and we have launched to a degree with neighborhood services and should be finished in the springtime of 15 with that. And then we're going to explore the potential of using Granicus for a citizen participation module, and we'll complete that review and report it to the office through the clerk's office. Then we've got increased official interaction with major community stakeholders. And here we're talking about having a comprehensive community stakeholder event calendar, and so we would be developing a database, and community economic development would be in charge of that. Then we are suggesting every other year to host a realtors breakfast, and that would be to communicate with them what's going on to the city, but realtors sell homes in the community, and we hope that they pass on to them the welcome packet that we prepare for all of our new residents. So we think, in an effort to reach out and have better community engagement, hosting a biannual realtors breakfast where we talk about all the things the city has to offer, review the welcome packet with them, and invite questions from them on how to help market the city from a residential and commercial standpoint. And then we're talking about developing an attendance strategy so that we can have, as Councilman McFarland said, greater participation at these meetings and pre-council meetings and committee meetings as well. And those are the strategic initiatives. Are there any questions on those that I presented this evening? And if there are or aren't, I welcome over the course of the next few weeks that you email me or give me a call and see if there's something else you'd like to add. I sent you a memo about some proposed amendments to the budget for this year, but I also said that when we get to the end of these strategic initiatives, I want to come back with budget amendments so that we can implement some of these initiatives to reach our goals. So if you're interested, if you adopt this strategic plan as we've proposed here and discussed, then we need to talk about what does it cost to fund a breakfast for the realtors in the community? What does it cost to implement that fleet maintenance software program? And so at the next meeting, I'd like to present those types of issues along with those that I spelled out in my memo to you last week.
Mayor?
Questions? Jim?
Real quick question. I didn't want to stop you. You're hitting a stride there, Jim. So I figured I'd wait till the end and be patient. We talked about analysis of assets or buildings and properties owned, condition, maintenance. Okay.
Right.
Will we also be looking at any of the properties and deciding what it might be costing us, and if it's not being utilized, whether we're going to get rid of it, sell it, donate it, whatever the case may be?
That's true. That's true. We own a lot of residential properties, and that we've gotten through foreclosure. And I think the city should be working with either the junior college or the high school to develop some kind of vocational education program to rebuild homes. And our in is donating the lot. And then when they sell that, they start generating revenue that they can use to continue to build more homes. Now that's a big project. But I get your point, which is we may be holding on to certain assets that are better utilized by the private sector than us. We should take a look at those properties and decide whether or not we've got a future value, or we are ready and really think it's time to let go. I will share with you that has to be a careful analysis, because during my lifetime, I've seen throughout the country where the demographics change with parents having kids. And suddenly, you don't need that elementary school, and then it gets sold, and 6 homes get built there, and 15 years later, they need a new elementary school, but there's no land to build an elementary school. And so you want to be careful and really do some future thinking about the assets that you have today, whether or not it's a good idea to sell them.
One other thing, Jim, and I know we'll get further into it. The quarterly newsletter, and it'll be a citywide newsletter, and that's great, but, you know, Scott and the IT department, as they start to put this information and data together, I think it might be a wise idea to also, if we can, to know which resident belongs to which district, for whatever district exists at the time, so that way each of the district representatives can drill down deeper on issues only germane to that district that wouldn't make it in the citywide. So if you could put that on on something to consider.
That's something we can surely look at.
That's all I have, man.
Anybody else? Thanks, Jim. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is new business, not for final action or recommendation.
I got some. I don't know if this is for City Manager Hawk or Mr. Plyman. The Diversity Committee had a presentation, I think it was 2 weeks ago, regarding the proposal out there about the potential of 8 districts coming before the residents via referendum. And I attended another forum on it to kind of hear both sides of the issue. And the question came up whether or not this referendum would be binding. I'd just like some clarification from our corporation counsel or city manager that if this is binding, what is the next steps then? Is it something where the new council that's elected would then put the districts together? Could you get some clarification, if you could?
Well, there's a lot in that question. We're all aware that there is a grassroots effort to raise awareness about the city's councilmanic form of government, and there's petitions currently being circulated that would modify our form of government, which was previously approved by a referendum in the 1950s, from what it is today, which is a hybrid of 5 districts and 3 at large, with the mayor represented by, or elected by the whole city, to switch from that form of government to one in which there would be 8 districts and then a mayor. There would be, well, I haven't seen the exact petition, but presumably there would no longer be at-large council members. But again, that remains to be seen. So we've all heard those reports, and I know there have been some community meetings where the matter's been discussed. I have not seen anything in writing, such as a petition from advocates of that sort of proposal. So we're a little bit in the dark as far as what exactly would be proposed eventually. And I believe it's still a little bit up in the air as far as what would be proposed. And because of that, there's a lot of speculation and hypotheticals about what election would a referendum be scheduled for. And beyond that, if the referendum were to be successful, when would it be implemented? I can tell you that I've done a little bit of research on the subject in the last month or so, and it's clear that if a referendum of that nature were to be approved by the voters, that it would be up to the city council in office at that time to develop the new district map. The map itself would not be the subject of a referendum. It would be up to the 9 of you to decide what the district configuration should be. In terms of when that new map would be implemented, that's a very complicated question, and it is unclear to me when that would occur. I do know that there's an election scheduled for November of this year. There's also an election scheduled in April of 2015. for the April 2015 municipal election. Petitions for persons wishing to get elected, I believe, begin to be available for pickup from the clerk's office in the early September timeframe. And they are required to be submitted maybe around Christmas time. And right in between those two dates is the November 2014 election. So it's very difficult to get a definitive handle on what the schedule would be if there were to be a petition filed to hold such a referendum. The question of implementation, I believe, would be up in the air. Perhaps the implementation date would be part of the referendum question itself. I don't know. That's a little bit
Right.
responsive to your question.
So I
don't know.
guess what I'm hearing is if this referendum were to pass, it would be binding, but we don't know what time frame it'd be implemented to go to 8 districts.
It's my understanding that the advocates that have raised the issue intend the referendum to be binding, although there is a procedure for an advisory referendum.
So it's up to whatever the...
It's up to the advocates to decide which avenue they wish to take.
Thank you.
A question. You says that if the referendum passes, the council, the sitting council will draw up the 8 districts?
Yes. The map is a responsibility of the city council in office at the time. So if the referendum were held this November and the referendum carried, eventually the matter would be certified by the county clerk and sent to the city clerk, and then the matter would be up to the city council to move forward with a new map. And there are no definitive deadlines set by statute for that.
What if part of the referendum is the vote and the map?
I'm not sure how that could be. I've never seen a referendum
I'm
with
just
a
throwing
map.
it out there, I don't.
Yeah,
Explain
referendum-
vote and-
Well, they get the petition to put a referendum on the ballot for 8 districts, and included in that are the 8 districts.
Oh.
Yeah. I've never seen that.
Well, I don't know.
And I know the law of referendums require that the question be very simple, self-implementing, and clear, so there's no voter confusion. And so when you start layering issues like yes or no on the overall question, and then the map itself, I don't know if that would be upheld by the courts. I have not seen a map ever submitted to the referendum. Generally, that's a legislative prerogative, subject to judicial review.
Mayor?
Another question, sure.
Yeah. Jeff, and if I might, you might help me clarify. My understanding would be this on this map. First of all, if it was on the ballot, it'd be a very tiny map. That's pragmatic and that's true. But second of all, we as a council, you know, and elected officials, when we do remapping on any level, we have to meet certain legal requirements.
Yes.
So to me, that sounds like, as a layman, not an attorney like yourself, that you can't really put a map on a ballot because you haven't vetted whether it's legal or not yet.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to prejudge the question, but I do not believe that would be authorized by state law. I believe districting is a municipal function.
Okay.
It's up to the city council. And you're right. Not only do the districts have to be compact and contiguous, but there are requirements under the Voting Rights Act that the districts be fair to all segments of the community.
Any other questions on that? No. Any other comments under?
Business.
Done. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
Do you want mayor and council comments?
Oh, that's what I'm, says, any other comments? I mentioned that.
No, usually you point to us.
No, I don't point to you unless you say you want to talk.
Well, I want to talk.
Okay. Mike?
Nope, nothing.
Dan?
I have a couple of things. It's National CPR Week. Our city manager sent this out to remind everybody. It's being put out by Metro Northwestern Hospital, and it'll be at metro stations across Chicagoland, and they'll be teaching you quickly how to use an AED, which is an automated external defibrillator. And there are going to be demonstrations at our Joliet Union Station this June 4th, tomorrow, from 6 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And if you don't know how to use one and you don't know CPR, this will tell you exactly what to do if it's needed. which brings me into my next question to our chief of the fire department. Chief, we implemented a volunteer program last year for city employees to get basic life support or CPR certified. And how many did we get with that?
Yeah,
Roughly.
last year, Councilwoman Quillman asked if we could put a program together to reach out to the city employees. I believe we were able to successfully train about 350 to 400 of our employees with CPR and AEDs also. Our facility here, we have a number of AEDs in the building. The fire department has AEDs along with cardiac monitors. The police department has a few AEDs. They're very prevalent out in the community. They're very easy to use. So we've taken those steps, and again, this year, we'll try to reach out and see if we have some more interest to get some more of our city employees trained. And they're trained for a 2-year period, and then they'd recertify after 2 years.
Okay, thank you. Which leads into my other question. I know last year we received a grant for about, I don't know, a few AEDs to be put in police cars, and I was wondering, Chief, if you wanted to comment on that, is there any more grant money out there for that?
There hasn't been. We do have a few of the AEDs that are out there now, but it's our hope that we can find further grant funding, expand it, and have more AEDs in the field available for our officers.
Okay, maybe we'll take that back to public safety, because I feel that's an important issue. You know, the fire department are first responders, but also the police are there as well, and whoever gets there first can take that out in case of an emergency such as a heart attack. And I just feel it's very important that the city provide that service for, you know, we already have it in our ambulances and the fire department, but I think the police department, since they're out there all the time just as well, I think it's something we need to look into. So, John?
Sure.
Take that.
We can schedule that for the next Public Safety Committee meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
And as the weather's getting hotter, okay, I know you love your dogs. Please leave your dog at home. It might be 70 and sunny. You think it's cool out. You close up the windows in the car. You come back. You don't have a dog anymore. So please leave your dog at home. Don't leave them in a hot car. And we now have a city ordinance that if you see a dog in a hot car, you can call 911, and one of our police officers will come and help you rescue the dog. And last but not least, I want to wish everybody, every dad out there, a happy Father's Day, because we will not be meeting until after Father's Day. So everyone up here is a father. To my fellow councilman, happy Father's Day. And to my dad, who's 92, happy Father's Day to you. I'm done.
Bob?
Thank you. Yeah, Mayor, a couple meetings ago, there was some concern raised about the status of the Rialto. I have the minutes from the May 28th meeting with me. These include a year-to-date financial breakdown of what's going on. So if anyone is interested, they can see me. I'd be happy to share it with them.
I get a copy, and I didn't hang them, and I usually put them up in there, but I didn't do those. Okay, thank you. Terry?
No, sir.
I have none.
James? Yeah, I just have one thing I forgot to bring under new business, and I was called by a couple employees that received information that they're going to be laid off from Bergstrom off McDonough Street, that they manufacture cabs for Caterpillar, and that two of the lines of cab production are going to be moving south. So I was wondering if staff knew anything about that, or if there's any way we can reach out to them to see if we could do any dislocated worker realignment with the junior college, or what's going to happen with that facility. I think, Mayor, you and your group met with Caterpillar, and we talked about it.
What
It's
factory is this?
off Route, actually, technically, I think it's off Joyce Road. I think it's 540 Joyce Road. So I don't have any of the details, but I'd like to make sure that as city staff and anybody, maybe the city manager, could reach out to them to see what we can do as a municipality to get somebody back in there. I know we keep talking about TIF areas and trying to bring some development. I don't know if it's something we can, reach out to.
I believe they are mandated when they're going to close or lay people off, they have to send us a letter, because we have received some of them in the past, but I don't think I've received one
Federal
from
law
them.
requires that they notify us, but I think it's a certain threshold of like a minimum 30 employees or something, so.
Okay. So, but I didn't
But
receive
yeah,
anything.
so we heard about it, and I brought up about reaching out to CAT because there's rumors and whatnot, but we heard about it, it's out there. As I said, I got 2 calls from 2 employees that are looking for assistance in finding a job, and if there's anything we could do to reach out to the company. Thank you.
Larry?
Just a couple items. First of all, I've gotten calls because we had a rather wicked winter, and I don't think I have to tell anybody that. And there were streets that were fair to good prior to the winter that Mother Nature wasn't too kind to, right, Jim? And our Public Works Department does an excellent job. And correct me if I'm wrong when I explain this, Jim, at any point, stop me. Basically, we're using the motor fuel tax money to do the resurfacing. I've gotten calls about resurfacing. And we do it in two waves, kind of the beginning of the summer, second wave in the end of the summer, and sometimes through good management, Jim, you wind up the last couple of years where you've had things underbid and actually were able to possibly put on a couple extra projects at the end. Am I?
Well, not exactly. We do a big resurfacing contract to start the season.
Okay.
We just awarded tonight. It's about a little over $1.5 million. And then the last couple of years, we've done a supplemental resurfacing contract using in August. So typically there's been two.
Okay.
In the past, IDOT used to let us change, or if we got great prices, IDOT would let us change order additional streets on. We're not allowed to do that these days, so we now have to do an additional contract. But it's usually just been two.
Okay.
And that's the intent again this year, because we had good prices and for some other extra IDOT or other MFT funding we're going to be receiving through this Illinois Jobs Now program. We're going to do a supplemental one probably in August again.
Okay. Because what I was ultimately asking then, do we have it on a website? Could we have the list once we approve the finalized list? Can we get that list conveniently located on the website at this time of year? Because a lot of people ask, out by me, they're asking, when is my street going to be done? And I know that IT is not here tonight, right? So can you check into that, Jim?
Certainly can. And just a reminder, I think I put it in my manager's report. Jim Trisna mentioned it. That was $661,000 in additional MFT funding that we'll be able to add to that August contract.
That's a lot of streets, and we need it. The other thing I wanted to bring up, it kind of piggybacks coincidentally on Councilman McFarland's comment. Today we talked about myself, the mayor, and Councilman Turk. We had our Economic Development Committee meeting, and because we've been going with the ongoing process of the strategic plan, we've been basically playing shortstop for the last number of months and taking projects that came in. And I think we all agree now we want to move forward on putting together an economic development strategic plan that we talked about that would happen after we did the overall strategic plan. And I bring it up for one reason then, because we certainly want input from residents, from business owners, from any interested parties or stakeholders. And I think when we start to get into that, trying to put it together through that committee to bring to the council, we need to get it out there to the interested stakeholders when we're having, the meetings on those, Jim, so that, we can get their input as well, too. Because I think we need to put together a sales package, if you will, to start attracting commercial and industrial. So that's my comment. If you can make sure we get that done, we can put it on the water bill, we can put it on the website. I guess we got to decide what meetings we're going to start doing that.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you.
John?
I just wanted to make a couple of short comments. School is out. We got 2 more days before our children are out of school. And so let's try and make that as safe and as fun for them. A lot of safe passage, a lot of activities. Parents, remember that there is a summer read book. So the kids may come home and say, no summer read book, but we don't want to lose that summer read loss. So make sure you check with your children if they don't have the books. Please call me. We'll get the books to them. And on my last comment to my male colleagues, Happy Father's Day, and to the male staff, Happy Father's Day, and Happy Father's Day to all of those that are out there.
Thank you. Just a couple things. One, we authorized Jim to hire some part-time people to help us out. I've asked them to give Joliet residents priority, and that was hiring them part-time jobs, if at all possible, to hire Joliet residents first. And finally, and most important, just want to wish my wife a belated happy birthday. Yesterday was her birthday. Happy birthday, Rose. So.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.